Hey Void, how you doing? Phoebe Rizzo and the Void back once more. So, alright, I've been, as before, watching through as many old Toho kaiju movies as possible, and recently did watch King Kong vs. Godzilla. This is not a review of that. That one's coming up a little bit. Just doing a little out of order here, just while I have you available. So,
see, I don't remember that movie very well, and I remember this one, so.
This one is, if nothing else, it's memorable.
It is memorable.
And
Good? Memorable, yes.
Oh, this is a delight. And that is King Kong Escapes. The pseudo-sequel to King Kong vs. Godzilla. This was Toho saying, we got the rights to King Kong for another year, so let's do something with it. They did something with it.
They sure did.
Okay, so, how would you explain the plot of this?
There's a giant King Kong robot that, this evil group creates to mine unobtainium. I forget what it's actually called.
Element
but it's like
X.
Element X, there we go. And I don't know why they decided to make it in the shape of King Kong, but they're just like,
you see,
King Kong is the strongest, so we'll make this robot
King
Kong.
Yeah, that's the logic right there. That is.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, and so then King Kong has to go fight this robot.
Alright, so, essentially a woman from a country that is never referenced, they just keep hinting at that she's from a country, is, essentially, her country is, paying Doctor Who to...
That's his actual name.
Think less, Britain's Doctor Who, think more rejected Bond villain here.
At first I thought it was like Chinese, like H-U, but no.
Nope.
No, it's not. It is W-H-O.
Yep. So, in order to... I think part of the reason he made it look like Kong is his rival seems to have been studying the King Kong possibilities, and based on that, decides to make his robot look like that. But problem is, the robot can't mine the Element X because magnetism.
Magnets mess it up.
Yep. So they decide, well, let's go get the real King Kong, and sure. This is right after our main characters then essentially crash on Mondo Island, which is where Kong is in this one.
They're like, oh, let's go see if legends about Kong are real.
Since we're here anyway.
They are. They're real.
And Kong saves them from the first appearance of Gorosaurus, who actually has a surprising following in the kaiju world. Gorosaurus is a popular one. This is kind of he only appears in like 4 movies, but if that, maybe 3. Anyway, he's known for his hoppy hops kangaroo kick.
Oh, did he do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember that. Yeah. He did do that.
Anyway, after that, King Kong bonds with Susan Watson, the only lady pretty much in the movie, other than the mysterious lady, who again her name is not really said. I've seen her references Lady Piranha in I think the Japanese version. I could be wrong on that. And Madam X, according to the back of the box here.
Yeah, they never really call her anything.
No, they don't. Or her country.
She's a mystery lady.
It's just my country.
Nowhere.
With a eyebrow raised, like.
I wonder if they wanted to avoid pissing off like any real countries. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Toho makes up countries all the time, so
that's true. They did in Mothra.
Yeah. So and that's in that one they actually fused to that. No, they make up countries constantly. So
maybe they just wanted to have it be mysterious. I don't know.
Anyway, so King Kong gets kidnapped and is they have to force him to mine it with hypnotism.
Hypnotism.
Yep. So they hypnotize Kong into doing that, but after that, the radiation still poses a problem along with some cave-ins, and so the controller for him stops malfunctioning due to the Element X again. So now Doctor Who decides to kidnap a bunch of our main characters in order to force them to get Kong to work with them. Our plans are growing increasingly convoluted.
Every step in this guy's plan is just accompanied with, sure, why not? You do that.
Well, that's what the audience accompanies with. He accompanies it with the equivalent of a mustache twirl and a Anyway, after that, King Kong essentially, after he escapes, he starts kind of going about the city, just kind of more confused than anything else. So Doctor Who sends his robot to bring Kong back and rehypnotize him. So Kong and Mechanic Kong begin their fight in Tokyo. And also, the mysterious woman has a sudden change of heart and decides to start sabotaging him. There was like an attempt at a build-up like this because she seemed to keep trying to pull out the deal, but then giving him more time. But it sounds like she wasn't on board with what her country was trying to do, which is the reason for her sudden change of heart, but she was trying to be all femme-fatally about it.
I mean, I just thought, like, at first that she was just like, you failed me, time to leave, but not that she actually objected, just that she was pissed that it wasn't working. And then she has a sudden change of heart. Okay.
Well, I think,
sure.
So, like, if there was someone who was attempting to be complex, it was her. Everyone else just has a complex.
And questionable dubbing.
Oh, God, yeah. So this film has never been released in its original subtitled thing in the United States, so the dubbing on here is ridiculous. But unlike a lot of other Toho dubs, they don't really add anything or subtract anything, so it should be at least accurate. Unlike the original Godzilla King of the Monsters or King Kong vs. Godzilla were the other two main ones. Everything else has a little bit, but this one supposedly should be pretty straightforward. Anyway, they fight in the city until Kong just decides to go home. He's pretty much just, okay, I'm done with this stuff. He washes his hands and he goes home. Yeah, so this one's definitely a lower budget even among Toho films. Like, the miniature work is still decent, but the Kong suit has never been the greatest. So
the eyes at least kind of moved in this one. They didn't in the first one.
No, they didn't do as much. And I will say the Kong suit is better than it was in King Kong vs. Godzilla. King Kong vs. Godzilla, like, this one he seems to have more full control of his arms, while in that one they seemed to, like, it seemed like the actor only stopped, like, halfway down there, and so his arms just would kind of flop around a little. But, so, this one isn't a great film, but it can be an entertaining one for how ridiculous it is.
I wasn't bored.
That's pretty much the best way to say it. It's not a boring movie. A little bit of alcohol goes a long way with this one. What you giving it on the MacGuffins?
I don't know how to rate a movie like this. Like, what do you... How does the MacGuffin interact with entertaining but objectively not great?
It depends on how if the entertainingness, like some movies I will rate higher despite like they're maybe not being technical perfect, but they're enjoyable. But something like this where it's more entertaining because it's bad usually won't rank nearly as high. For me, I'm giving this one 4 MacGuffins.
Yeah, four's what I was thinking too, I think.
So it's not great, but
I don't regret watching it.
But the ridiculously keeps it from slipping down. For me, like, anything 1 to 3 is actually, like, I consider bad. 4 to 6 is average. So this one's just slightly on the lower end of average. Like, mostly because of the it's ridiculous, and it's a dumb film.
Yeah, if you want
But it's fun, so it keeps it in that average category.
If you want a, like, ridiculous movie to put on with some friends and get some drinks, then it's good for that.
I think Toho mostly was aiming this one more towards, like, kids, so... And you can kind of see that with some of the ridiculousness here. So, it is rated G. There's nothing really in this film, though apparently some of the parts of the studio wanted to actually make it bloodier than it was, just because that was popular at the time, even in kids' media. So, like, when Gorosaurus gets choked out, it was supposed to be blood coming out of his mouth rather than the foam that they went with. And when our mysterious lady gets shot, it does actually show some blood there.
Mm-hmm. Spoilers.
But, I don't know if anyone cares for this one. Anyway, but for the most part, the director, I said, like, kids don't need to see that. So he stopped on some of it. But I guess at the time, in the late 60s, kids media was getting bloodier, I guess, in Japan.
Is it good? Nah. Is it fun? Sure.
So it's worth a watch, particularly if you like old kaiju films. It's fun. Don't take it seriously. See you, Void.